Not no, go on.
of Industry, Trade and Investment. Please, according to the agenda of the program, can we commit this meeting in the hand of God by reciting the second stanza of the national anthem as our opening prayer? After 2. 1, 2. Oh Lord of creation, thy great and noble cause, guide our leaders rise, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and giving just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Richard Adeni Adebayo CON, representative of the Permanent Secretary and Director of RM, Mr. S. Alabi, Directors of the Ministry here present, the founder of the African Enterprise Initiative, other members of the staff of the Ministry, special aides to the Honorable Minister, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm. Good afternoon to you all. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to this very important event. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister, today we are here for the inauguration of the African Enterprise Initiative, AEI, Nigeria's Advisory Board, and the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between your Ministry, Your Excellency, and the Nicky Okoye Foundation and of Health. Without much ado, may I quickly call on the directors to introduce themselves, and then we go to the second agenda of the program. Please give the Honorable Minister a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The name is Hussein Quantabura, and Director Legal, representing the Legal Department.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Olukemi Arojuju, Director of Investment Promotion.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Ali Albaka, Director of Trade.
Director, please, if you're wearing mask, wait, you don't know where it's going.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Babagana Ali, Director of Policy Planning, Research and Statistics.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister, with your kind permission, it is my honor and privilege to invite the Director of Investment Promotion in the Ministry, Mrs. O.A. Arotudu, to give her welcome address. Please let us appreciate her.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I plead to stand on existing protocols. It is my pleasure to, on behalf of the Honorable Ministers and the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, welcome you to the inauguration of the Advisory Board of the African Enterprise Initiative, which we call AIE, and the signing of the MOU between the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and the Nicky Okoye Foundation on the initiative. This noble idea, ladies and gentlemen, was presented to the Ministry for support by Dr. Nicholas Okoye of the Nicky Okoye Foundation. And after an in-depth appraisal of the initiative, the Ministry thought it wise to partner with him because the objective of the initiative is actually in line with some of the key mandates of the Ministry, which are job and wealth creation, industrialization, and MSME support. The AIE is aimed at promoting MSME startup and expansion, and it is designed to benefit all demographics, especially the youth, the women, and senior citizens across the nation's states and local governments. I will not take much of our time because the Honorable Minister is a very busy man, so I'll just go straight to specially thank the appointed members of the AIE Advisory Board, and note that their decision to serve on the board is an indication of their willingness to contribute to the development of our great nation, and we appreciate you for this. It is my prayer that God grants us all the wisdom and the ability to deliver on this project as best as possible so that maximum benefits will accrue to our nation through it. So once again, on behalf of the Honorable Minister and the Permanent Secretary, I welcome you all to this inauguration ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gato. It is now according to the agenda of the program to do the presentation or video on African Enterprise Initiative. The video presentation, please.
Communities of African descent across the world have for far too long operated at the fringes of global business. Africans have been typically excluded from the massive commercial transactions which operate at the commanding heights of the global economy. Global conglomerates are more likely to be non-African owned or non-African operated, even for those conglomerates that dominate Africa's national economies. In fact, the top 100 most capitalized companies, top 100 highest earning companies, and the top 100 most valuable companies operating in Africa are not majority owned or operated by people of African descent. And to make matters worse, Africa represents less than 2% of global trade and less than 5% of global foreign direct investment flows. To address this state of affairs and to reposition the African entrepreneur in the global marketplace, a strategic intervention is required, which will upscale the leadership skills of African business leaders and public officials, as well as support African entrepreneurs to make the transition from small-scale entrepreneurship into global enterprises, expanding the boundaries of business and commercial transactions on a global level. Authored by Dr. Nicky Okoye, the Africa Content Strategy is a new manifesto for repositioning African enterprise globally and has formed the foundation for the development of a continent-wide intervention termed the African Enterprise Initiative. In this respect, the Nicky Okoye Foundation is working with a coalition of corporate partners, including the Federal Republic of Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment, to unleash the African Enterprise Initiative's strategic interventions designed to expand the capacity and global opportunities for business across Africa and subsequently across the world. The African Enterprise Initiative provides impactful pathways as designed in the Africa Content Strategy, and serve strategic pathways and interventions for public-private partnerships, driving progress and driving development of business, commerce, and enterprise expansion across the board. Some of the interventions of the Africa Enterprise Initiative, including providing technical enterprise clinics for Nigerian and African communities, as well as providing the legendary Champions of the Universe entrepreneurship boot camps for raising the profile of all entrepreneurs of African descent. The African Enterprise Initiative also aggregates local investment capital for startups promoted by entrepreneurs of African descent, supporting market penetration strategies across African markets, as well as providing innovative, affordable enterprise ecosystem tools designed to enhance business and encourage seamless, smart business transactions. In our efforts to build sustainable platforms for the continued growth of African enterprise, the newly founded African Enterprise Institute will drive the AEI intervention initiatives across the African continent and continue to build investment, political and business coalitions in different markets, as well as support the training and certification of African business executive leadership, providing executives with the tools and the support to build profitable global enterprises. In addition, the African Enterprise Institute is positioned to support the expansion of the Nigerian Business Apprenticeship Scheme across the world. Our institute will document the successes of outstanding African entrepreneurs, and we will set the stage, identify and train the next generation of business leaders and executives of African descent. In this respect, we will make sure that there is always a steady line of capable successors for the global conglomerates and continent-sized businesses operating in Africa or operating globally and are majority owned by people of African descent. The African Enterprise Initiative is supported by some of Africa's current generation of outstanding entrepreneurs and executives of some of the continent's most promising enterprises. For Nigeria, the Board of Advisors includes Sayu Donstad, Chairman of MRS Group, Charles Mormore, Chairman of Heiko Electricity Distribution Company, Korla Adeshina, Chairman Chief Executive of Sahara Power Group. Princess Fifi Hejindu, Principal Partner Starcrest Group. Hemekar Ojogu of Sony Ojogu Group. Yami Anderku, former Presidential Advisor. Dakuku Petersad, former NAMASA Director General. Dr. Ola Brown, founder Flying Doctors, and a host of others. To learn more about the African Enterprise Initiative or African Enterprise Institute, log on to africanenterprise.institute or email us at afei@nickyokoye.com.
According to the agenda of the program, number 4 and 5 is to be presented by Dr. Nicky Okoye, the founder of African Enterprise Initiative, to be a presentation on African content strategy and listing and introduction of members of the African Enterprise Initiative Advisory Board. Please let us appreciate him as he does that.
Your Excellency, it's a unique pleasure to It's a unique pleasure to be here, and we really appreciate the support and partnership that the Federal Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment has provided us with the African Enterprise Initiative. Slide. So I want to go very quickly because I understand that your time is fast spent. And first of all, to give a little brief on the Nicky Okoye Foundation. A lot of folks might not know who we are. We are part of the Nicky Okoye organization, headquartered in Washington, D.C., United States, but also operating in Africa, in Nigeria, Lagos, and in Mozambique. And then we are also opening in Ghana. What we do basically is support for businesses and business development strategy and national development strategy. Slide. One of the major strategies is the Africa Content Strategy, which is part of the African Enterprise Initiative. So we're looking at the challenge. The Nigerian youths have demonstrated over the years that they're being left out. There's a need for access for SMEs to have access to opportunities. And that's one of the reasons why we developed this initiative. Slide. So if you look at the background, you find out that Africa has about 1.2 billion people, but we're not doing as well as we should in the global market space. As far as global trade is concerned, we do less than about 2%, and global investment flows, we're doing about 5%. And so if you look at the biggest companies operating in the world, coming back to Nigeria, and the map shows that out of the top 2,000 companies in the world, Nigeria does not have a company listed on this graph. And the only African country that has companies listed there is South Africa. And then if you look deeper at the challenge, you find out that most of the largest companies operating in Africa and in Nigeria are actually foreign owned. And we've done a graph of all the top companies, Shell, Microsoft, Hewlett-Packard, ExxonMobil, and so on. So it's a problem not just for Nigeria, it's a problem for the entire continent. And so the question we asked ourselves is, why is Africa so behind? And we believe that the reason is because we have not yet tapped into the global supply chain. The global market has always been there, and there's a strategy by which we can tap into that global supply chain. And that is how we developed the African Enterprise Initiative. Because you have to tie investment to trade, and you have to tie trade to commerce. And so we believe that that is one of the reasons why we're being left out. If you look closely again at Nigeria, you see that Nigerians are very hardworking people. That slide shows a guy carrying about 300-400 kilograms of fuel, and the woman who's carrying the baby on her back carries the child, and then the child is carrying another child. So we're hardworking people.
Over the illegal activity.
Yes, that's true. So what is the solution? So for us, the solution is we need access to capital, obviously, but we also need access to a sustainable creation of jobs. We also need to develop the entrepreneurship capacity of the Nigerian people. And then we have the African enterprise in the middle, and then down you have access to opportunities across Nigeria. You have places in Nigeria, at the far skirts of Nigeria, that are not being able to operate on a national scale. We believe that we can bridge that gap. But more importantly, there are opportunities across Africa. For instance, one of the areas. So one of the areas that we support Mozambique is that Mozambique has a new gas industry that is emerging. They've been able to get about $70 to $80 billion in investment for 3 gas fields. They don't have a local content capacity, and so we believe that with Nigeria's extensive capacity in local content, we've had local content capacity since 2010, since the law was passed. We can actually merge Nigerian firms with Mozambique opportunities, and that is one of the major takeaways of the African Enterprise Initiative, where we look at opportunities across Africa, bring Nigerian businesses, take advantage of it, and then we have developed an Africa content strategy. So if you go, go back to the slide you just passed. So in order to do that, we believe that this partnership is extremely unique, working closely with the Federal Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment, and a lot of your departments, and then taking advantage of what we have done at the Enterprise Initiative, and then also with the Enterprise Institute, which is constantly building capacity so that folks have access to key information that is required. You can go. So what is the initiative? Just like the presentation and the video presentation said, it is finally a 21st century initiative which brings it all together. So we're bringing together capital, we're bringing together skills, we're bringing together the ability to have a boot camp for entrepreneurs across the country. We're bringing together all kinds of solutions. And this slide kind of pulls it out. So number one is the enterprise. Go up a bit just so that I can see the whole slide. No, down, sorry. So you have the African Enterprise Institute, you have the Entrepreneurship Universal Champion Bootcamp. The bootcamp is where we'll bring entrepreneurs from all over the country to a specific bootcamp, and we will be able to take them on a crash course on how to enhance value, not just locally in Nigeria, but across Africa and subsequently across the world. We intend to take full advantage of the Africa Free Trade the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, and we intend to be able to plug in our SME ecosystem into that free trade agreement, which we believe will enhance value and create jobs on a very significant level. Then we will have the Africa Content Strategy Retreat. So we don't expect to hold on to this knowledge. We want to share the knowledge across the board. We want all the states to have this knowledge. We want all the communities to have this knowledge. So we're going to be impacting this knowledge to public officials and private officials across the country so that they know how to engage and to help their people to come up to level. Then there's the African Enterprise Fund. The African Enterprise Fund is exclusively one of the major areas that we found that enterprises fail because they don't have access to funding. And we looked at the Nigerian ecosystem for startup funding, for those who are funding startup enterprises. And if you go through in detail, most of the venture capital firms or even angel capital firms that are funding startup enterprises in Nigeria are getting their money from international sources. In fact, almost at the 99% level. So we are going to launch under the African Enterprise Initiative for the first time an exercise to mobilize Nigerian capital to support Nigerian startup firms. It's never been done on this scale before. But we believe that we have a strategic formula that will make it successful, whereby we will tie those providing the funds to geographical centers. So if you're from Lagos, for instance, we can have a Lagos fund where you can support startups in Lagos. If you're from Kano, you have a Kano fund, and so on and so forth. And so we believe that will be extremely valuable for the success of the enterprise initiative. And then, of course, you have the bootcamp, which I've talked about before. then the Masters of the Universe collection, where we put together all the top entrepreneurs that have passed over the years, and we put that in an educational format where people can study how well they did. And most importantly, the Elite Youth Business Executive Program. We believe in Africa, one of the biggest problems, again, for businesses is that businesses don't go beyond the second generation. So the founder starts a big business, and then he hands it over to the second generation, and then it dies. So a lot of the big names that we grew up with, like Ekenedi Dichuku Transport and so on and so forth, they don't exist anymore. So what we are saying is that we need to solve that problem if we're going to sustain wealth in Africa. And we have developed a course that will support those young people from those family businesses to sustain those family enterprises. And then we have the Enterprise Innovation Campus. And a very important aspect of it, if you listen to the video, was the apprenticeship scheme. If you notice, the apprenticeship scheme has been exclusive to Nigeria, where young boy comes and joins a trader and spends 5 to 7 years, and he learns trading under a master. It's never been formalized, and we need to formalize it, and we need to take it across the world so that we can support the next generation. And that's exactly what we want to do on the Institute. Go forward. And so, go on. I've given a bit detail on so this is just on the apprenticeship scheme. So what we're doing here is, if you look at the model used for Onitsha, Alaba, Aba, and so on, we've designed that model, we've studied it, and we want to expand it for all Nigeria and for all of Africa. And we believe we can do it under this scheme. Folks who have gone through this system have never been certified. They've never gotten a certificate for going through a 5 or 7 year program. And that's going to now start happening. You can go through 7 years of learning, and there's no evidence that you went through 7 years of learning, even though you have learned something. But in addition to that, what they don't learn from their masters, they don't learn a balance sheet. They don't learn how to raise capital. They don't learn how to manage in a sophisticated global environment. And those are the areas or the gaps that we intend to fill with this program. And then finally, like I mentioned before, the fund, the Enterprise Fund, where we're going to mobilize capital from some of Nigeria's and Africa's most outstanding entrepreneurs to fund the next generation of startups in Africa and in Nigeria. But we're going to tie it to geographical areas so that there's an emotional attachment to this. The challenge is part of the bootcamp, so continue. And then this is the Innovation Campus. So we believe that while all this is going on, this will be in the second year, we would invest in an innovation campus where some of the latest technologies, artificial intelligence, robotics, and so on, can be developed into a business model and expanded for Nigerian young folks who are coming with the next generation. And just to give you an insight that we've done this before, why are we so passionate about this? We launched Empower Nigeria about 10, 15 years ago, Chief Emeka Nyoko as our chairman, and we built that particular initiative to over 400,000 members, and we did about 550,000 trainings go up. And then we also helped the Central Bank of Nigeria in developing an SME intervention for SME clinics and so on. Go on. And so in conclusion, the roadmap, we expect that this year we can launch the bootcamp and the challenge, and then by July next year we launch the business ventures, and I don't see the rest of it, but we clearly have a roadmap in place which we're obviously going to share with we've actually shared with the ministry, but we'll share it again for those who can't see the presentation very well. Go on. And so in conclusion, we believe that the African Enterprise Initiative is a national and continental impact strategy for investment, job creation, enterprise development, and sustainable economic growth. So we'll be able to create new access to global business, new access to jobs, new access to capital, a new generation of youth entrepreneurs, which will make all of us proud. And of course, we can now create a conveyor belt of jobs and intervention and new opportunities. And thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Nigeria has a lot of local content capacity and business opportunities. And Your Excellency, the ministry will continue to collaborate with AEI. Please, can we appreciate the founder of this very important initiative, Dr. Nicky Okoye. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister, with your kind permission, it is now the signing of memorandum of understanding between the ministry and Nicky Okoye Foundation. To do that is the permanent secretary of the ministry, Dr. Nasir Sani Gwarzo, but representing him is the director legal, ably also represented by Barrister S.M. Fantagora, who will represent the director legal. Please, can we appreciate them as we go back?
I'll see you smile.
Yeah, I can smile. Very.
Please, can we give them a round of applause as they take sign? It's now my honor and privilege, the permission of the Honorable Minister, to invite Your Excellency Otumba Adeni Adebayo, Commander of the Order of Niger, to give his own remark and inaugurate the board. Please, can we give a round of applause to the Honorable Minister?
Before I proceed, can Mr. Okoye please introduce to us members of the Board of Advisors?
Thank you.
Before I hear the-
Thank you, Your Excellency. Some of the members are not here today, and they're actually online. So I will just give the list of everybody, and then those that are here can indicate they're here. So first of all is Dr. Ola Brown, the founder of Flying Doctors. Take a round of applause. Secondly is Mr. Seyudan Tata. He's not here, but he's watching closely. Third is Mrs. Fifi Ejindu. She's not here, but she's also online. Then there's Dakuku Peterside, former Director General of NIMASA. He's not here. Mr. Kola Adeshina, he's actually online as well. And he is the group CEO for the Sahara Power Group. Charles Momo, he is the chairman of the Eco Distribution Company. Mr. Yemi Anyoku, he is here. And an IT specialist. Mr. Emeka Odogu, director for the Sonny Odogu Group, he's here. And Mr. Nzam Obe, he's not here, but he is the chairman of Living Energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The representative of Permanent Secretary, the appointee to the advisory board, Directors of the ministry here present, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here at this inauguration of the advisory board for the African Enterprise Initiative today. I'm particularly happy to be part of this development because this initiative, which is geared towards the mobilization of domestic investment, capacity building, and provision of access to global markets for Nigerian businesses at all levels, with special emphasis on micro, small, and medium businesses, women, youth, and the elderly, would not have come at a better time than now, when the government is doing everything possible to achieve sustainable development in our great country. Ladies and gentlemen, history has shown that no country has ever become rich or developed by exporting raw materials without developing its industrial sector, and that sustainable development can only be achieved when the foundation for development is laid on the tenets of responsible, inclusive, and balanced investment. An initiative that emphasizes domestic investment, capacity building, and provision of access to global markets for entrepreneurs across all demographics is therefore one that deserves all the support it requires to succeed. This is why my ministry has decided to collaborate with the Nicky Okoye Foundation in the implementation of the African Enterprise Initiative. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to state here that one of the statutory responsibilities of my ministry is to design and implement national economic policies for the growth of local industries, expansion of domestic and foreign trade and investment, as well as stimulation of industrial development and sustainable growth. My ministry is particularly focused on the drive to stimulate the establishment of more Nigerian-owned micro, small, and medium businesses, and support existing ones to grow and do exploit not only within the country, but also at continental and global levels. The overriding objective of the ministry is to make the establishment of these MSMEs and their growth seamless. In an effort to facilitate this process and in line with the policy of the present administration to create a private sector-driven economy, we are always seeking for strategic public-private partnerships where we can join hands to build an economy that is resilient and innovative, one that can withstand the impact of foreseeable and unforeseeable risks and vulnerabilities that are accruable from increasingly globalized issues. Partnerships like the ones we're witnessing here today. Ladies and gentlemen, 2021 is a peculiar year. It marks the commencement of the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, as well as the commencement of the global investment drive, an effort designed to rebuild the global economy after the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. Both occurrences can produce either negative or positive results, depending on how they are managed. My ministry has however chosen to see them as opportunities to stimulate monumental economic and commercial growth for Nigerian micro, small, and medium businesses, and expand the export base of Nigeria to the African continent and the world at large, while at the same time creating a private sector-driven economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is in light of these that my ministry is today unveiling a unique collaboration and strategic partnership termed the African Enterprise Initiative, AEI, with the Nicky Okoye Foundation. African Enterprise Initiative is dynamic. It is designed to provide robust capacity building for Nigerian businesses as well as a platform for them to have access to global markets, expand their products and services, and attract investment capital from local and international sources. It offers realistic prospects for massive job creation, thus reducing poverty and enhancing the quality of life of a large percentage of the population. Ladies and gentlemen, we just concluded signing of the memorandum of the signed memorandum of understanding marks the beginning of the collaboration between the ministry and the Nicky Okoye Foundation. So without further ado, I hereby inaugurate the Board of Advisors of the African Enterprise Initiative, made up of outstanding individuals and institutions, many of whom I know personally, who have already been introduced to us by Dr. Nicholas Okoye, to flag off the implementation of the initiative. I thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic.
It is a policy of this administration to create a thriving private sector economy, and the ministry, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister, is driving that initiative. This once again, can we appreciate our Honorable Minister? It's now my honor and privilege to invite Dr. Ola Brown, who is from the board, to give vote of thanks for this well-inaugurated committee. Please, can we give her a round of applause?
Thank you, sir. My name is Dr. Ola Brown, and I actually started off life as a medical doctor. And I went on to study economics and finance. So the first question that my mother asked was, how did a doctor in medicine now become a doctor of money? But I'm very, very passionate about entrepreneurship in Nigeria, and I lead two investment companies, venture capital company that invests in financial technology, and a company specifically focused on healthcare financing, which I think is very important for economic growth. I'd like to start by thanking the Honourable Minister for your continuous support of young people with big ideas. You are appreciated for all of your efforts in supporting young entrepreneurs across the country. And I'd also like to thank everybody that works in government here, people that have dedicated their lives to something very, very special, which is service. Thank you for taking the time to be here, and thank you for taking the time to support us. Members of the press, I can see a few here. Thank you for continually telling our stories across Nigeria, because without you, we'd just be blinking in the dark. Nobody would be able to see us. Thank you to the people in the private sector, both on Zoom, I can see you, and here as well. Because I always say that nothing happens until somebody makes a profit. No taxes are paid, people don't eat, people don't go to school, even non-profits are taken from people's profits. So thank you to the private sector for generating profits and generating taxes to make this whole thing happen. Thank you to the members of the advisory board. I look forward to innovating and building alongside you. And Dr. Nicky, since I've known you, you've been so focused on serving this country, and your passion and your energy are inspiring. And thank you so much for bringing this initiative to the forum, bringing all the stakeholders around the table and igniting them with your passion to all be here today and inaugurate this board. If there's something that connects absolutely everybody in this room, it's the belief that capital deployed in the right way can be a powerful catalyst for change. And thank you all for believing in bigger companies, more entrepreneurs, more profits, more taxes, and a greater nation. Thank you very much.
Nothing happens if people doesn't get profits. We hope this inauguration will be for the profit of every Nigerian. Let's give them a round of applause. With this, we come to the end of the program, and we now go ahead for the group photograph on the ground floor. Thank you very much for coming. Okay.